You are now listening to the Highly Evolved Podcast. You can find this channel on Twitter, Gab.ai, BitChute, and Minds.com. This is a Real American Patriot channel for Real American Patriots. If you're not a Real American Patriot, please exit the channel. Furthermore, we are not sponsored by any outside interference. That means we're unscripted, unrehearsed, and unedited. With that being said, transmission will commence momentarily.
How are you guys doing? Welcome to the Highly Evolved Podcast. My name is Stefan. You can find me at Minds.com, BitChute, Twitter, Gap.com. Most importantly, like, share, and subscribe. On that note, guys, let's stop beating around the bush and get to the nitty-gritty of the show. In this episode, I want to discuss an article that I read that I find very interesting, and we're going to read this together, of how Trump is supposedly playing 4D chess with China. Not too many people know that all these strategic moves, all these moves that Trump is doing is some kind of a strategy that he's playing that a lot of people refer as 4D chess. All right, if you don't know 4D chess, it's basically making, I just already mentioned about this, making strategic moves for your best advantage. And this article from Zerhedge is I think it's gonna cover the basic underlying meaning of why he's doing this, the stuff that Trumps do. And I find it very interesting, and I think that the American people should have some kind of recollection of what he's doing right now. And the term 4D chess need to be, I don't know, in the subconscious of America. But let's read this article, okay? Let me pull this up for you guys. I just want to tell you guys again that this show is not possible without you guys' support. So you guys are greatly appreciated. Don't ever think I don't appreciate you guys, all right? And here's the article. Trump playing 4D chess with China. All right. Is the president stable genius? Is the president a stable genius taking the global empire and succeeding? Huh? Checkmate, right? Since announcing his candidacy for the highest office in the land, President Trump has been accused of playing 4D chess lately. You have to wonder if the billionaire real estate mogul is not only competing in a chess match against the world, but also playing backgammon, checkers, risk, hungry hippo, blindfold, arms tied behind his back, and underwater without oxygen tank. The latest event of the World Economic are just too connected to be coincidence. All right, so basically, there's too many things that comes out. You know, all the move that he's been making is like he's always winning in every move. So it's hard to not think that he's doing every move strategically. All right, is Trump accidentally stubborn in a development, or he's the stable genius, talking to globalist empire and succeeding, right? Power pause to hurt China. After months of global financing market enduring the case of will he or won't he, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell met with White House halfway and gave the administration a quarter-point cut in interest rate in July. Federal opened the Market Committee FOMC meeting. Moving forward from the target Fed funding rate will be at 2.00% to 2.25%. So basically, he cut the range, because if you haven't been following, Donald Trump been chewing out Jerome Powell, said if you're gonna raise interest rate, the economy's not gonna do so good. All right, so he's basically switched the narrative from the responsibility from him to the Federal Reserve, because Donald Trump been telling the Federal Reserve, if you go to more, you're gonna collapse. So when he said that, he's basically shifting responsibilities. So the Federal Reserve have the more responsibility when it comes to them, because when it comes to economy and their interest rate, they're the one who solely have the power to raise rate and deduct rates. So they have all the power. So it should be the Federal Reserve fault for doing this, because they're the one who's manipulating the economy by raising all these rates. All right, so basically, he brought out to a forefront that American people should know that anything that happens with the economy is solely the responsibility of the Federal Reserve, because they have the power to do it. The president don't have the power to do it, and Donald Trump been telling them to do it. But I guess recently, Jerome Powell caved in and listened to Donald Trump. Donald Trump been telling him to cut the rate, because if we do, you're gonna destroy ourselves. So, and Jerome Powell don't want that kind of pressure on him. But let's continue. Despite the U.S. economy residing in the boom phases of business cycle, Powell acknowledged that the dovish measure was a mid-cycle adjustment, adding that this is not a beginning of a series of long-term rate cuts. However, considering how the trade war has been intensifying it is more than likely that central banks will pull the trigger on another rate cut before the year finishes. Exactly. They don't want to. They have to cut rates. If you're gonna raise any more, you can trigger like a recession big time. And he knows that Jerome Powell don't want to mess up. All right. So this rate is gonna be on for a long time until the situation get better. All right. That brings us to this next development. All right. One day after the ICO's building caved and delivered a rate reduction, President Trump shocked market and announced that a 10% tariff on the remaining $300 billion on Chinese imports. It was surprising because Washington and Beijing agreed on the second trade truce, and American and Chinese trade representative renewed talk that very week because China can't afford it. China has been accused of currency manipulation. That means they devalue their money, right? Now when they say, oh, the tariff is going to affect pricing in America, it's not going to affect pricing in America. You know why it's not going to affect pricing in America? Because China going to manipulate their currency, devalue it. So therefore, whatever the price, no matter how many percentage, is going to take more toll on the Chinese economy than our economy. Because remember, this is the yuan they're dealing with in China. All right. So they had to devalue the money to keep up with the tariff rate, to keep up with the high tariff. So they devalued the yuan so they could print out more money to keep up with their thing. And it's just the way they're doing it right now is not sustainable. They can't do this forever because if they keep devaluing the money, they can collapse big time. Right? They can't just keep devaluing the money, printing out money for no reason because the economy can collapse. And this is why I hope that's what will happen to China. China need to collapse big time. They're becoming a big threat for America. All right, they're becoming a big threat. If Chinese collapse, it's not gonna be the end of the world, guys. It's not gonna be because the companies will come back to America. All right, if China collapse, they will not. Companies in China will not be sustainable. So they had to leave the country, not just America, but other countries like Vietnam, Myanmar. Indonesia, all those countries, they had to leave China. All right, this is why, and China become a big threat. They had to collapse for them to not be a big threat. They're making islands, building up their military. We do not want China to have a bigger military than America. That's a big threat right there. That's a big no-no. Right? By having more accommodative monetary policy, in addition to a strong economic figure, Trump has wiggled room to take risks in trade policy. Although escalating trade dispute inevitably will impact the world's two largest economies, pumping money into the market will produce short-term stimulus. It might be enough to put President Trump's use of art of the deal method to notch the trade agreements into the President Xi Jinping would, and in theory, spark a rally of equity. Exactly, because like I said before, China manipulating the currency. They can't manipulate along that much, so they realize they can't keep manipulating the currency. So they eventually gonna have to come to the table and make a deal. Right now, they're not willing to, but they think they're strong enough. But they're not gonna be able to manipulate the currency long enough. And when it comes to that point, they have to make a deal with Donald Trump. Because if they don't make a deal with Donald Trump, the Chinese economy can collapse big time. But that is not all. The new tariff distorted the Chinese yuan and foreign exchange market. To kick off the trade week, the yuan created 1.5% on top of below the crucial 7 mark against the U.S. dollar. Now there are few things to consider on this subject. The first is that this could result in a spike of capital's outflow, which would depress domestic market sentiment. The second is that it devalued the yuan might encourage U.S. officials to grievance about weaker currency that would make Chinese export even cheaper, hurting foreign competitors and adding it to the trade surplus. So it only benefits America. It's going to hurt China more. The trade is that the White House could get a Treasury Department to finally label the People's Banks of China a currency manipulator, which they already have. I guess this article has been written before, but right now they are labeled as currency manipulators. Why is this important? Here's what the president tweeted soon after the yuan plunged to 11-year low because their value, their yuan is depreciating big time because they changed the value of it. China dropped the price of their currency to an almost historic low. It's called currency manipulation. Are you listening, Federal Reserve? This is major violation in which greatly weaken the Chinese over time. Exactly, see? I mentioned it. It's going to weaken the Chinese over time. It's not sustainable. They can't just devalue the money all the time. It's not sustainable. I guess this is why they keep buying gold. Because if you're not aware, China is hoarding a lot of gold right now. President Trump is already suggesting that he wants the Feds to eliminate European Central Bank, ECB, meaning that the desired enhancement easing the low rate, bond buying, and other stimulus measure. It is true that the Fed purview does not consist of interfering with exchange rate, but its policies would affect forex market. So turning the printing press would debase the greenback and make an export appear more attractive throughout. It would diminish American purchasing power. So I'm guessing it's going to make their prices more expensive, and so we can't buy that much stuff from the Euros, which is good. I don't want to buy anything from them anyway. But if I'm reading it wrong, correct me on the comments. Laser pointers. It is hypothesis giving the president too much credit, perhaps, but the president has shown us that we are all cats, and he holds the laser pointers. As selling and scroll selling, how do you pronounce that? Ensorcelled as we are by every tweet. Announcement, off the cuff remarks. Bad, good or bad. He could say that all human beings are gorgeous, and that would somehow ignite an international incident and encourage millions to ask, what about extraterrestrial? # space aliens are not aliens. All right. Trump made the Democrat leadership stand beside far left anti-Semite because of the call of the squad. The president got on the left dismissing reality in Baltimore, drawing attention to just how bad in the Democratic-run city. He told the press to get them do a vetting of any names he touted. Heck, Trump even managed to persuade Democrats to defend MS-13 gang members after he called them animals. It's 4D chess. Why not the same as true economics? Yes, it's true. He is employing 19th century mercantilist policy that will hurt the average American in the end, yet it is still fascinating to look how one man can perturb political opponents, spoke global finance markets, and send the media into a tizzy, and at the same time miraculously appeared to be winning and advancing his American First agenda. If it's all part of the plan, then the impressive politicking unseen before American. Trumponomics. The late Grigory Rasputin, I think how to pronounce it. It is one of the fascinating folklore of Russian history. Religious figure and good friends of Romanov's royal family, Rasputin had a hypnotic relationship with the royals, and disgruntled subjects of the Tsars took matters into their own hand. Conjecture has it that he was poisoned with potassium cyanide and shot in the heart, but still survived. The assassin shot him 4 times and finally wrapped him up in linen and dropped his body in an icy river, Neva River. This is Trump. No matter how many times you try to kill him, he just keep coming back. Perhaps it is all the MAGA power. Whatever you agree or disagree with President Trump, you cannot help but admire something that he has accomplished in nearly 3 years. Frankly, the neoconservative no problems. He will have a photo op at the North Korean DMZ on Democrats and mainstream media foaming at the mouth over Russia since the 2016 election. That's okay. His administration will help pass historic tax reform. Threatened by impeachment again? Fine. He'll just end up in unapologetic tweets infiltrating the nuclear meltdown at CNN. It wait to be seen if he can ink a landmark trade against with China, maintaining the growth of both export. If we can do it all unscattered, and win re-election, maybe Trump Reddit page is right. His title should be God Emperor of the United States. That's the end of the article. Right? This article just narrate Trump move within the past week right now. And, it's like everything people try to throw at him is not sticking. Look at the mass shootings. It take 2 mass shootings, and it's still not sticking to him, all right? It seems like he can't do no wrong right now. So, and China as well. It's like he just labeled China as a currency manipulator, all right? And when it comes to policies, foreign policy, domestic issues, move and maneuver, it seems like he's taking the right move, but no matter what the far leftists, the Democratic Party, all right, the candidates are trying to say, it's not sticking. People already made up their mind. People already have an opinion of how the established government works, the swamp. All right, people already know that whatever the swamp is saying is basically lie, because Trump always cemented his views and tarnished the reputation of the established deep state government. He already did that before he got elected. So, but he did that. His voters already know what kind of dirt they try to throw at him, and they're going to realize what kind of dirt they try to throw at him. They're going to dismiss it, whether it's from mass shootings, all right, inappropriate behaviors, geopolitics. They don't care. At this point, the American public don't care. As long as he get the jobs done, and as long as he don't blow up the country. That's what matters. Right? And I totally agree that this article right now, he's definitely playing 4D chess. I just want to see what happened in the future, what else can make, because I'm interested. What kind of move will he make within the next 6 years? Because at the rate he's going right now, he's going to win in the landslide. I assure you that, guys. All right, but I digress. Let me know what you think. You think he is playing 4D chess? You think is a thing right here? You think the 4D chess is actual thing? All right, let me know you agree. When you agree with me or you disagree with me, let me know what you think in the comment. Once again, YouTube don't want to monetize my channel because I'm unscripted, unrehearsed, and unedited. That means I can say what I want without being bothered by any outside interference. If you like what I do, please like, share, and subscribe, because when you like, share, and subscribe, it encourages me to make more videos. When I make more videos, I saturate YouTube algorithm. When I saturate YouTube algorithm, it makes my video more expensive to a broader audience. When it's expensive to a broader audience, I might get one person to think for themselves, because it's the point of the channel to get them to think for themselves. They do not want to be a group thinker. The group thinking will disparage American society, right? They will distort American society, whether you're a communist, Marxist, socialist, democratic, all right, Antifa, Black Lives Matter. Those are group thinkers, all right? Those are group thinkers. They implement policy that affects people's lives by taking their wealth, their freedom, and their rights away from them, all right? Because of that, I'm not asking for any donations, because I look at it as a incentive if you think for yourself, because you will not bother you. You will not affect me if you're an individual thinkers, because group thinking will affect me big time. Right? That's why I don't like group thinkers. Yet again, you don't have to agree with everything I say. Just think for yourself. But on that note, guys, let me know what you think. Leave a comment below. I know your time is very precious, and I try not to waste any of your time. This is the HighlyEvolvedPodcast, and I thank you for listening to the show. Peace.